The beginning, a story of creation, disobedience, and hope. Darkness and light. At first, there was nothing. No sky. No land. No sound. No life. Only darkness. But then, a voice, strong, full of power, broke through the silence. Let there be light. Suddenly, everything changed. A bright, warm light appeared, piercing through the endless darkness. It was the first day, the first sunrise. Then, on the second day, he stretched out the sky, endless and blue, above the earth. He separated the waters below, gathering them into mighty oceans, deep and mysterious. The waves moved as if they, too, were obeying his voice. On the third day, dry land appeared. The earth itself took shape, with valleys and mountains, rivers and lakes. Then, green spread everywhere, lush trees, tall grass, colorful flowers. The air smelled fresh, pure. The trees bore fruit, ready to be eaten. It was perfect. On the fourth day, he placed the sun high in the sky to bring warmth and light to the day. Then he hung the moon and countless stars in the sky to shine at night. They flickered like tiny fireflies in the heavens, stretching farther than the eye could see. On the fifth day, he filled the waters with creatures, fish of all sizes, great sea beasts, and tiny creatures unseen by the eye. The air filled with birds, soaring high, singing sweet melodies. He looked at them and smiled. "Be fruitful and multiply," he said. Then came the sixth day. The first man. I watched as he knelt down and gathered dust from the ground. Carefully, he shaped it, molding it like a potter with clay. But this creation was different from the birds, the fish, and the animals. It was more special, more personal. When he was finished, he leaned down and breathed into its nostrils. The man opened his eyes. His chest rose and fell as he took his first breath. His skin was warm, his heart beat strong. He blinked, looking around in wonder, taking in the world for the first time. God called him Adam. He placed Adam in a beautiful home, the Garden of Eden. It was like nothing else on earth. A paradise. Rivers flowed gently, giving life to the trees. Birds chirped happily, and soft breezes carried the scent of flowers through the air. In the center of the garden stood two special trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God spoke to Adam. "You may eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of knowledge. If you eat from it, you will surely die." Adam listened. But something was missing. He was surrounded by beauty, but he was alone. The first woman. God saw this and said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper for him." So he made Adam fall into a deep sleep. As he slept, God took a rib from his side and formed a woman. When Adam awoke, he saw her. His eyes filled with joy. At last, he said, "This is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh." She was called Eve. Adam and Eve were happy. They lived freely in the garden. There was no shame, no fear. Only peace. They walked with God, unafraid. The world was theirs to enjoy. Until the day everything changed. The lie. I remember the serpent. It had been watching, waiting. Clever and cunning. One day, Eve stood near the forbidden tree, admiring its beauty. The serpent slithered close, its voice smooth, almost kind. "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" Eve looked at the serpent, surprised. We may eat from any tree, except this one. God said if we eat from it, we will die. The serpent tilted its head. You will not surely die. Eve hesitated. The serpent continued, God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened. You will be like him, knowing good and evil. She looked at the fruit again. It was beautiful. Tempting. Her heart raced. What if the serpent was right? What if there was more to know? Slowly, she reached out, plucked the fruit, and took a bite. Then she turned to Adam. He watched her, uncertain, afraid. But when she handed him the fruit, he took it and ate. They fell. The moment they swallowed, something inside them shifted. They felt something they had never felt before, shame. They looked at each other and realized they were naked. Their innocence was gone. They rushed to cover themselves with leaves, but no matter what they did, the shame remained. Then they heard him. God was coming. His voice called out, Adam, where are you? Adam and Eve hid behind the trees, trembling. They had never hidden from God before. God's voice came again, gentle but firm. Why are you hiding? Adam slowly stepped forward, his head down. I heard you and was afraid because I was naked, so I hid. God asked, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat from? Adam pointed at Eve. The woman you gave me, she gave it to me. Eve whispered, the serpent tricked me. The consequence. God's voice was filled with sorrow. He looked at the serpent. Because you have done this, you will crawl on your belly all your life. There will be enmity between your offspring and the woman's. One day, her descendants will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. To Eve, he said, you will have great pain in childbirth. Your husband will rule over you. To Adam, he said, because you disobeyed, the ground is cursed. You will work hard for your food. You will sweat, struggle, and one day, you will return to the dust from which you came. The garden, once filled with joy, was now heavy with sorrow. But even in judgment, God showed kindness. He made garments of animal skins for Adam and Eve, covering their shame. Then, with a grieving heart, he sent them out of Eden. An angel with a flaming sword stood at the entrance, blocking the way to the tree of life. They had lost paradise. The promise. But as I watched them walk away, I saw something else. A promise. A hope. One day, someone would come, a descendant of the woman. He would defeat the serpent, break the curse, and bring them back to God. The story was not over. It was just the beginning.